Expanding on their lineup of lifestyle offerings, the new Razer Anzu is an interesting combination of technology. On one hand, eye care is becoming more important with how much time we spend looking at a screen, and the blue light blocking lenses help to protect our eyes, but Razer has also packed swappable sunglass lenses, Bluetooth connectivity, and speakers into the arms of the glasses, much like the Bose frames that we took a look at earlier. So how do the Razer Anzu smart glasses stack up? Well, let's check them out. And first off, let's take a look at getting these $200 smart glasses out of the box. First thing that we see is the replacement sunglasses lenses in a reusable case. It's mainly cardboard, but it really is perfect for storing these spare lenses. Under that case is a protective case for the Razer Anzu, and inside we have the glasses and a charging cable that connects to both arms to recharge. With its textured finish, the carrying case has a rigid shape for the Anzu, as well as a soft material on the inside to prevent any scratches. Also inside the case is a little pocket that perfectly holds the charging cable. And Anzu does come in a variety of shapes and sizes. As you can see here, we have the rectangular, and this is the small/medium size. If this rectangular design doesn't strike your fancy though, there are different sizes and a rounded design available as well. And obviously that's all going to come down to personal preference, but after spending some time with the Bose frames, those felt a little bit too big for my face, so I did opt for the small/medium size when going with the Razer Anzu. And I'm not normally a glasses wearer, but overall, I think they have a pretty sleek, modern design. Since there are speakers built into the arms, they aren't super slim, but they really don't stand out that much either. And this smaller size is pretty lightweight as well, coming in at 44 grams. On the bottom side of the arms, we do see the charging contacts near the front of the glasses and the speakers. The perforated mesh that covers the speakers looks like it has 3 passages on either arm, and according to the spec sheet, the Anzu packs 16mm drivers for these speakers. And Razer Anzu also has touch controls on both of the arms. There's a little kind of nub, a little dot you can see right here underneath the Razer logo, and that is where you would touch. It's a capacitive touch to control these different gestures. And these are fully configurable inside the Anzu app, and they can do anything from playing and pausing music to call up a voice assistant, or even enter a low latency gaming mode. Now, we've talked a little bit about the Bose frames and comparing it to these as well, but one thing that sets the Anzu apart is that Anzu does come with those swappable lenses. Those blue light filtering lenses in here, they're supposed to block 35% of blue lights to help protect your eyes, but they also have the included sunglasses lenses as well. To swap them out, a bit of pressure is required on the top of the lens and is a little nerve-wracking your first time, but after a couple times doing it, pushing out the lenses felt pretty normal. And since you have to put your fingers all over the lenses to push them out, there is quite a bit of cleanup afterwards to get all the smudges off. So it's probably not something you want to do, every hour or something like that, but doing it once a day if you're going from work to going like to the beach or something for a sunset after work, that wouldn't be that big of a deal. One other cool thing here is that Razer has partnered with Lensable to get prescription lenses if you do have a specific prescription that you need, and I believe those prices start at $77. So how does Razer Anzu sound? Well, for its intended use, it sounds okay. Keep in mind that these are open ear, there's nothing covering your ears, there are speakers built into these frames, they're just firing down towards your ears, and with all that in mind, it sounds pretty decent. For use on walks or at the beach or listening to a podcast while you're walking your dog or something like that, I think these are going to be a great way to both protect your eyes with like sunglasses and also listen to some content while you're on the go. There really isn't much low end, of course, but they do seem to kind of bring some of the lows up into the mid-range, at least in the standard EQ mode. And they do get pretty loud too, but obviously one thing to keep in mind, since these are open ear, they're just open speakers firing, they are kind of like open back headphones where anyone around you is going to be able to hear what you are listening to. So obviously something to keep in mind if you are, in some sort of public transport or in some area where you don't really want to disturb others. But that being said, when it comes to just like straight up audio quality, I do think that the Bose frames do it a little bit better than the Razer Anzu. The Bose didn't really have much more low end, but as far as just overall clarity throughout the rest of the frequencies, I do think that the Bose does it a little bit better than the Razer Anzu. But the Bose smart glasses are more expensive and they don't have those swappable lenses, so not quite as versatile and definitely more expensive than the Razer offering. But there are a couple of tweaks you can do to the EQ within the Anzu app. So there are 3 different EQ modes. There's the default, which I kind of talked about. It kind of brings up the low end into the mid a little bit to add some presence to it, but it also kind of muddies things up a little bit. But the enhanced clarity mode kind of takes some of that out and makes things a little bit more clear, a little bit easier to understand, speech and different instruments. There's also a treble boost mode, which is great for, just voice for spoken word if you're listening to podcasts or making calls or video conferencing. but as far as listening to music, it doesn't sound the best in my opinion. But yeah, just keep in mind that these are glasses with speakers built into them that are just shooting down into your ears. So, don't expect the best quality you've ever heard, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with how these sound. But beyond just changing the EQ modes, the Anzu app also enables some other tweaks to functionality, like you can change all of the gesture controls and completely customize those to whatever you want them to be. And obviously you can check firmware and check battery life and do those kinds of things as well within the app. One quick note on the gestures is that it took me a little bit to get the single tap gesture down, which seems like it should be the simplest one, but it's not just a quick tap. I don't know if they made it take a little bit longer just so you don't accidentally hit buttons, but you do need to leave your finger on there for just a second to get it to actually pick up that gesture. And Razer has a kind of practice mode built into their app where you can practice these gestures to make sure you're doing them right. And obviously at first I thought this was kind of gimmicky and kind of silly, but then it actually came in handy when I was trying to get that, single tap feature, that single tap gesture to work for me. The Razer Anzu has about 5 hours of battery life, which might not be enough to make it through a whole day, but that is pretty much on par with other offerings like the Bose frames. And of course, the Razer Anzu has a built-in microphone. So here we are testing it. I'm recording on my iPhone 8 through the Voice Memos app. So hopefully this gives you a good idea of what it's going to sound like for voice calls when you are using the Anzu. There's a little bit of wind here outside, a little bit of car noise in the background, but nothing too crazy. So we'll see how this does for knocking out all that background noise and what it actually sounds like. So overall, wrapping up here, Razer has a pretty interesting bit of tech with the Anzu. On one hand, it's great for work, for productivity, because you do have that blue light filtering lens, and then you also have the speakers built into there, so you can just, while you have these on, you can just take calls. You don't have to put on another pair of headphones or anything like that. You get a little bit better audio. But then you can also use them when you're out on the go as well, out for a walk on a sunny day or at the beach or something. I think these are going to be a great thing, like when you're sitting on the beach, you just want to listen to a podcast, listen to some music, just kind of casual. You don't have to do anything real super crazy, any in-depth listening. You can just pop these on and enjoy some content without having to have on headphones as well. They have both sunglasses and that audio built into one wearable device. But if audio quality is your primary concern and you don't really need the blue light filtering feature on here, which is obviously one of the main features of the Anzu, then I would definitely check out the Bose frames, because I do think those sound a little bit better, but they lack the blue light filtering lenses. And on price point, the Razer Anzu comes in at $200, whereas the Bose frames are $250. So Bose is a little bit more expensive, has a little bit better audio quality, but doesn't have all the same features of the Anzu.